When projects like Decentraland and similar projects came out, I was more or less mentally dismissive of them as an interesting concept, but without any real-life uses for them. That said, I was probably a little bit biased in the sense that I've never really had too much faith in the idea of building so-called metaverses, and figured that if you want to have a virtual event like a concert, then you can just video stream the concert, and if you want to hang out with friends or strangers online, you can just do that through a voice call or a video call and then play any game or do any other activity. Despite this, however, with the success of Fortnite and Roblox in the area, and with Facebook's attempts to do the same, I thought I might revisit the concept, and besides, I would rather hang out in a crypto-ish space for some sort of a virtual event than I would rather hang out in Fortnite or Roblox. That said, the title still stands. I don't know that projects like Decentraland will actually succeed, regardless of whether the concept of metaverses succeeds or fails. My personal conclusions to this are based on 4 different issues that are apparent in Decentraland specifically, and also apparent in many similar projects that are in their current state. Issue 0 is the requirement of cryptocurrencies. I'm calling this issue 0 just because I won't count it against a crypto platform that they require crypto to participate. That said, it will limit the scope of who is going to be able to participate in the project based on their knowledge of the different systems. Issue 1 is the issue that Decentraland, actually contrary to its name, is fairly centralized. Yes, the land parcels and other collectibles are held as NFTs, but the game itself is hosted on a centralized server or servers, just as most other games. Say you decided to self-host a Minecraft server, but only allowed the existence of 256 chunks. Then I allowed people to buy those chunks and only mine, build, or kill mobs on the chunk that they bought. The server would pull chunk ownership from the blockchain, but otherwise it would be a pretty standard structure of a centralized Minecraft server with a fairly odd restrictive set of parameters on the map. To be fair, Decentraland does differ from this in the sense that community members can mirror the server. It would be as if I started a Minecraft server and then anyone else could mirror the server, so if mine goes down, the clients can connect to a different server with the identical content on it. However, unfortunately, with the current state of the internet, it's not too feasible to have a multiplayer game that does not rely on some form of centralized servers to provide the content, and while NFT-based ownership of the land is definitely unique, I see it as both a little bit genius and a little bit gimmicky given the structure at its core is still fairly similar to the Minecraft example I gave. Issue 2 is the fact that Decentraland and other similar projects currently lack a game to a large extent. You can, at least theoretically, build things, though I will get into that in Issue 4, and you can interact with others and attend events, but that's about it. Unlike services like Roblox, Fortnite, or Facebook, it does not have a huge audience, which gives it a bit of a disadvantage over other platforms. Sure, it's experimental, and I would not blame anyone for releasing cheap or free software that lacks a lot of features because it's experimental, but I'll get into that a bit. Issue 3 is the lack of players. Unless something in particular is going on, I would not expect a large group of people to be online. I blame this mostly on Issue 4, but also Issue 0 to 2 as well. Issue 4 is the big one, and that is artificial scarcity. If I wanted to get invested into the Decentraland product, and I use the word invested as both a monetary investment and in the sense of spending time, then in order to do anything other than walk around and attend events or check out other people's builds, I would need to buy a plot of land. Well, the cheapest plot of land I could find at the time of recording this was $4,535.59 in American dollars. Yes, to buy this plot of land in a digital game has the same value that my car that has seen some better days has. And yes, this is on an experimental platform with nearly nobody online. If you ask me, this is absolutely insane, though it would not have been this way if it was not intended to be this way. You see, there was and still is a pretty small limit on how many plots of land there are available on the map. This creates an issue with the fact that because there is a limited amount, the price is driven up by speculators who want to buy the virtual land and hold on to it until they can sell it at a profit. Be it land out west in American history or the houses of today, scarcity leads to wealthy speculators buying up all the scarce things to try and make a profit. Those examples are of course, real tangible pieces of property, however, instead of land that can be created or destroyed with a few lines of code. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Why not just make a infinitely large map where people can go and play around with, and even if the plots in the infinitely large map require a few dollars to purchase, this would fix the artificial scarcity and allow those with premium plots near the center of the map to retain some of their value. Going back to using Minecraft as an example, somebody probably came up with a genius idea of instead of only allowing, say, 90,000 accounts to be created and then requiring all existing accounts to be bought and sold on a second-hand market, they could instead just allow limitless creation of accounts for a fixed fee. Now, to be fair, I want to point out the argument the developers of Decentraland made in regards to artificial scarcity. They made the claim that with no artificial scarcity, there would be a large number of abandoned and/or mass-claimed plots. That said, since most plots are purchased with the intent of flipping them, many do appear to be abandoned anyway, since nobody's actually buying the plots to play the game. The simple solution, at least in my mind, would be to expand the map or create a second map. That way every individual can actually participate. Yes, the values of the original properties would drop, but with the ability for everyday people to join in, it would also probably have a chance of strengthening the community to the point where the premium plots rise back in value somewhat to what they were now, just because those plots would be much more desirable than the infinite or near infinite number of second-class plots. Ultimately though, I doubt that will change. Yeah, allowing anybody outside of your wealthy crypto speculators to participate would probably save the ecosystem, but in doing so, at least in the short to medium term, would absolutely shred the entirely artificial value of the project's land plots, so I will doubt that they're probably going to do something like that. That said, I could be wrong, and I'm known to be wrong a fair amount. Additionally, however, somebody could eventually just end up forking the project or building a competitor from the ground up that lacks this intentional artificial scarcity, at least to this level, and allows people to participate. Otherwise, however, if Fortnite, Roblox, and Facebook all release free projects that are objectively better in many ways, then I take it the crypto-based projects like Decentraland are going to go the way of the Beanie Baby. So, apologies, I don't usually make content solely to tear things down. Additionally, just because projects like Decentraland are the way they are now, that does not mean that they cannot change into something that could be very different, and they are far from a lost cause yet. Last, these are my opinions, and I could be very wrong. Furthermore, this is a good time to point out that I don't dislike the project, its community, or the vision of its creators. The proceeds from the initial plot auctions were actually burnt instead of going to the developers, so this is not a cash grab in any sense. And the community seems to be nice, and they were quick to answer any of my questions about the project on Reddit, which apologize for using the information to criticize the project. And finally, in defense of Decentraland, I do like the idea, I just fear it won't succeed due to the reasons I'm pointing out. That said, these are my opinions, and I feel that they're based on objective observations, so they are worth bringing up, regardless of whether they're positive or negative. Additionally, while doing some research on the topic just to make sure I wasn't missing anything, I came across 2 articles that discuss similar topics, so I'll leave the links in the description. Anyway, regardless, I hope you enjoyed the content.